Eamon O'Carroll, pre-season is done and dusted now. What have you learned from the team between the Halifax game and the Leeds game Sunday gone?
Yeah, that we had some improvements to make, but we were certainly in a decent position. You know, I think the group's done really well. It was a good opportunity for me to kind of see them. They were certainly doing some of the things that they carried on from last year, and it was good to see some of the things that we've been working on in pre-season as well. So, you know, we spoke about it as a group. We're certainly not where we want to be just yet, but we're never going to be at this stage. It's about building, and like I said before, I think we're in a relatively good position now.
In your mind, where you want Bradford Bulls to be, how far or how close are we to seeing that version of the club?
Oh, that's difficult to say. I think, you know, we'll have to take that week by week in terms of results. All I know is that I feel like we're in a decent position at the minute. The team's, you know, training really well. We've had some okay performances, but the most exciting thing is I believe the group's got huge potential to get even better.
We've mentioned, obviously, after the Leeds game, no play the ball infringements. As a coach, you must be excited watching your side take on board those improvements. That's something you're focused on, and obviously seeing the side grow.
Yeah, it was good, and something you only realise after the game. It was like, oh, good, that was an area of improvement. But I think, you know, I'm not too sure what that could differ throughout in terms of the referees' interpretations and what they're seeing. I just thought that our game at weekend flowed really well, and you know, it was a good spectacle because of that.
And 4 games in, just on the referees, obviously 4 different referees. To you, are we seeing a different interpretation with each match official, or are you seeing consistency?
I don't know. Again, I think they've got a real difficult job. There's no doubt that the play the ball infringements from us were or maybe 2 that I had a bit of a question mark on, but yeah, I honestly don't know. I just feel like we've got to put it back on us and make sure that we're doing the right thing to take that kind of decision out of the officials' hands.
Spoke to Mitch Suter after the game on Sunday, and you know, he said that when he arrived, he made a promise to you that he was going to show eagerness to impress yourself and the fans. How pleased are you that players like Mitch are delivering on those promises?
Yeah, it's brilliant, especially when you bring someone in from overseas. He's a great lad, Mitch. He's always wanting to get better. He's fully invested in what he's doing here, and I think he's going to be a great player for us for a number of years.
Competitive rugby league starts this Sunday, Dewsbury Rams. How are you going to approach the 1895 Cup? Because effectively you have 2 chances to make the quarterfinals.
Yeah, well, we've got some objectives. We want to go far in this cup. We want to go and win it. You know, there's no secret about that. We want to go and win this competition, so we have to start really well and take some of the learnings that we've had with these 4 games. But it's ultimately down now to performance. So we get to name a team tonight, which I'm really excited about. And you know, it's Michael Lawrence's 350 game, so there's a lot of things to kind of celebrate and to make sure we come out the other side with a good result for ourselves, but for him and his family as well.
You've mentioned goals, Eamon. Is it fair to say the goal is to beat Dewsbury and Keighley and progress to the quarterfinals? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, of course. That's something. You know, these fixtures came out pretty early, so they give us a bit of a focus point. It's just at that exciting time now where we're looking at vision of an opposition and preparing the best we can.
How close are you to finalising that starting 17 for Dewsbury? Is your mind made up now what that 17 looks like?
Yeah, we'll name the team tonight. So it's again, it's good for me. First time I get to name my first 17, which I'm really excited about. And there were some disappointed people in the group, but one thing I know is that they'll do their best to make sure that the 17's best prepared to go out and win it weekend.
And when you look at the squad, Eamon, obviously everyone's been given an opportunity in pre-season. What's your message to those players, or what's your message going to be to those players who perhaps might have thought they might have had a chance of being in that 17?
They're in a really lucky position. We've got some quality within the group and competition for places. You know, I've been there myself as a player. The most important thing is that they realise it's a long old season. You know, we've got another 4 games before we even get to round 1. So everybody's going to be needed within this group, and that's not to say that there'll be some changes again next week. You know, we want that. I don't want to just be picking the same 17 every week. Everybody who's in the building at the minute will get an opportunity this month.
You mentioned after the game, Jaden Myers, Billy Jowett might have injury concerns. What's the latest with those 2?
Yeah, Jaden's okay. That was just a bit precautionary. He's all right. Billy, we're going to get a check on him again tonight, just because of the, not severity, but the nature of it. You know, back spasm. Sometimes they can be really sore. So we've kept him away from the club just to take out that the travel. So we'll have a look at him again tonight and assess him and see where he's at, but hopefully he won't be too far off.
And in terms of the rest of the side, is it a full, clean bill of health?
Yeah, for now. Touch wood it stays that way, but yeah, we're in a pretty decent position health-wise.
Dewsbury had perhaps that weak advantage going to Keighley last week. Have you had a chance to review that performance? What are your thoughts on, obviously, what you saw from Dewsbury?
Yeah, I have. You know, they're a big side, physical side. They've got some experience in there as well. Some smart players in there in Sykes and Turner. So we're going to have to be very good. We're going to have to go out there and perform. Obviously, they'll be hurting from the result. But I didn't think they were bad at all. I thought they started the game really well. Went and scored first. So we're going to have to make sure we nail our start against what's going to be a real competitive Dewsbury side.
And just on the back of obviously that result, not sure if you've heard Dale Ferguson's interview after the game, but you know, it was pretty scathing, you know, saying it was an embarrassment, a disgrace, one of the worst Dewsbury performances that he's been involved in. Are you expecting a backlash from Dewsbury on Sunday and an uplift in their performance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all been in that position before when you feel like you've underperformed and then you get an opportunity to put it right. So, you know, that won't be our focus. We're focusing solely on us and our performance. We've got our own objectives that we want to go out and achieve there. I think it's good that we're going to be facing a team that wants to sort of respond. So, but again, it's down to us and what we're doing. You
mentioned Michael Lawrence. It is going to be a career appearance 350. Do the club plan to celebrate that at all? I mean, tell us a little bit about Michael Lawrence again. You know what he brings with those leadership qualities.
Oh, he's been fantastic from the minute I got announced. You know, I had a number of conversations with him over the phone when I was in France, and he's been a huge help to me. You know, he's our captain, and he's fully invested in this club. He wants us to do well, so we'll make sure we do the right thing by him. First day in this week, we mentioned it and we celebrated it, but we also don't want it to be the main focus, nor does Bruno. He knows that there's a bigger objective on Sunday, and that's us getting through to the kind of next stage and making sure we start our season really well. So we'll make sure we've got a few things planned for Bruno. You know, it's important that we go out there and represent him and his family in the right way.
Is it fair to say he's happy to just go under the radar and do what he does out there on the field?
Yeah, he's real humble, Bruno. I think that's what I really like about him. He's probably the one of the last dying breed of the old school, to be fair. He's you know, he's great. When I spoke to him, I said, do you know it's his 350th? I think if we'd have made the final last year, that would have been his 350th. So he said, oh yeah, I knew it was coming. So nah, I'm really happy for him. You know, I've had the pleasure of playing against him as well, and I know what a true professional is and a competitor he is as well. So we're really lucky to have him. You know, I'm sure the boys will go out there and do the right thing by him at the weekend.
The Challenge Cup draw, of course, was earlier on this week. 2 home ties, one confirmed, North Wales Crusaders, and then either Widnes or Doncaster coming to Odsal Stadium. Your thoughts on that draw?
Yeah, great. I'm glad we've got 2 home games. I think then I have to do what coaches do and you focus solely on North Wales Crusaders. They were very competitive last year, and I know that there'll be a huge challenge. So, you know, when that draw came out, I kind of had a little bit of a look at it, but then it was solely back on to Dewsbury this week, and then we'll look at that back end of the week into next week.
And just finally, and obviously February, it's quite an interesting month because the championship's still a month and a half away from starting, and you're kind of jumping from cup competition to cup competition with obviously different values attached to each. How are you packaging this month? Is it game by game, or are you packaging the Challenge Cup games together and the 1895 together?
Yeah, a little bit of both, to be fair. I think because it's the start of our season, we feel like we've just got out of our pre-season. We tried to approach the Leeds game as if that was our round 1, so to speak. So the biggest thing for me is them feeling that this week is different. We really are preparing for a game, and for them to be excited as well. We're in 2 cups. You know, this game we know we're still in 2 weeks' time. But North Wales, that's knockout. To be in knockout rugby so early on in the season, for me, is an exciting challenge. It's not one that we want to shy away from. We know it's going to be a real difficult challenge, but one we're excited about.